first we proceeded to Lucknow, from Lucknow to Kanpur, Kanpur to Agra, and then to Noida. And in this long journey, it was a gratifying journey for all of us, because you know the mission. Our mission is Bank Bachao, Desh Bachao. This is a movement of the people, by the people, for the people. And it is a move to protest against the decision of the central government to privatize the public sector banks. All of you are aware that one of the bills that has been listed in this particular winter session of the Parliament is the Banking Amendment Bill, which aims to amend the Banking Regulation Act of 1949, as well as the Banking Companies and Acquisition of Undertakings Act of 1970 and 1980. Now, let us first understand that the entire decision is not based on economic issues only. I mean, this is purely a political decision. Because when in 1969, when the banks were nationalized by Madam late Prime Minister Srimati Indira Gandhi ji, it was a decision that changed the economic landscape of the country. And at that point of time, when on 19th of July it was mooted, the bill was passed on the Parliament, and the parties who opposed at that point of time was Bharatiya Janasangh, led by late Prime Minister Atal Bihari Vajpayee. And you must understand that entire decision of reversing the nationalization of public sector banks is based on political ideologies, not on economic issues. We have with us Dr. Prasenjit Bose, an eminent economist, who will be speaking to you, addressing to you about other issues involved in this, whatever we feel that why the banks should not be privatized. But let us first understand the entire decision, that landmark decision on 19th of July changed the total economic landscape of the country from mere 8,262 bank branches. And out of it, at that point of time, only 1,833 bank branches were in the rural areas, semi-urban areas. Now, and at that point of time, out of those banks, 75% of the bank branches were concentrated only on in 5 states. They were mostly owned by industrial houses. It was a cross ownership. The persons who owned the banks were also owners of industry. So the channelization of credit flowed into only those sectors where they were interested in. Like say, out of 1,000 crore rupee of credit that happened, say, up to 1960, only 20 crore was given to the agricultural sector. And from 1916 onwards, the total scenario changed. The regional rural banks were set up, and from 1,833 bank branches, the total number of bank branches, from 8,262, it became 60,000 plus bank branches. And out of it, 35,000 nearly bank branches were set up in rural areas, so that banking services were made available to the economically weaker section of the country, especially the agriculturists, the small and medium enterprises, the self-help groups, the women. And when out of every 100 rupees, only 17 rupees was the institutional credit in rural areas in 1960s, and it went up to almost 65 rupees. And this huge jump, it signifies that the rural money lenders were replaced by the public sector banks and the regional rural banks. Now, after the mega mergers that happened, 2 phases of mergers. The first one was Bank of Baroda with Dena Bank and Vijay Bank, and last year it was the mega merger when 10 public sector banks were shrunk into 4 banks. Now, after those mergers, what we witnessed was that it was a random closure of bank branches. I'll give you statistics. The 10 banks which were merged had a total number of bank branches of 37,492. And if you roughly estimate, even 10% bank branches are closed, and each bank branch, if it serves 1,000 customers, then it implies that 37 lakh people will either have to find a new bank branch or a new bank. And after that, what we are witnessing, that the credit portfolio has shrunk from 65 to 56. So that means once again these fintech companies, these NBFCs, these microfinance companies are once again dominating in the rural area. So they are exploiting the poor. Look at the percentage of interest charged by Bandhan Bank. It charges almost 2% to 3% per month, while the public sector banks and rural banks are giving at such nominal rates. जैसे हिंदी में कहते हैं सस्ती बैंकिंग. We ensure, like बिजली सड़क पानी रोटी कपड़ा मकान, this sasti banking should be a fundamental right of each and every citizen. And this entire decision was a landscape and revolutionary decision, and ultimately what Honorable Prime Minister says, that we have made banking services available to the common people. Now he claims it's a tall claim, but it's substantiated by facts. In the government portal, you'll find that almost 44 crore Jan Dhan accounts have been opened. And out of that, 97% of the accounts have been opened with public sector and real rural banks. You look at the Swanidhi scheme, whatever scheme, this Prime Minister, this housing scheme, Atal Pension Yojana, whatever schemes are being implemented by public sector banks. And Honorable Prime Minister says that it's Atmanirbhar Bharat. Our view is the Bank Nirbhar Bharat. Because it is we who are implementing the entire schemes of the government. During this testing COVID times, during this demonetization time, public sector banks, the real rural banks, proved to the country what banking services can be given. And we were not given the COVID warrior recognition at first. Thousands of bankers lost their life because everything was shut. Only we bankers, we opened all our branches despite non-availability of public transport system, nothing. We risked our lives, and in the process, over 2,000 bank officers and employees lost their lives having succumbed to COVID. And we carried the infection back home, and our family members were affected and they died in thousands. Even after that, after much persuasion, finally government declared us as COVID warriors. But even then, when the vaccination was due, we were not given the vaccination in the first phase. Like the healthcare workers, the police, the administration, the bankers kept losing their lives. And it's we who are actually implementing, we are keeping the wheels of the economy moving. And at this juncture, when you find that banks like Yes Bank, which became practically no bank, it was almost sent into ventilation. It was only State Bank of India which is providing this ventilation oxygen support and still keeping it alive. There are other banks as well which are in a very dire state of health. There's one particular bank who have fudged their balance sheet. I can come out with the name, IndusInd Bank. They have a wholly owned microfinance company, and by a quote-unquote technical glitch, all the accounts have been shown as standard, and they have not provided for any this NPA provision. The bank have registered a profit, and the employees of the bank has used the whistleblower policy to complain to RBI that something is wrong with our balance sheets. So this is not with the public sector banks. We are absolutely transparent. We are under purview of RTI. We have a role to play, responsibility. We are guided by CBC guidelines. And if the banks are privatized, this government is trying to simply wash off its responsibility. Like that, between 1947 and 1969, over 500 banks have failed. Even after nationalization, so many private banks have failed, and it has been bailed out only by the public sector banks. So at this juncture, when this bill is listed, it means that the government is trying to hand over these banks to the crony corporate houses who are trying to get back the ownership so that they do not have to repay their loans. Prasenjit will speak, there are only about 6.7 lakh crore worth of NPA, out of which 75% of the NPAs are of 5 crore and above. Or there are corporate defaulters. And this government is not declaring the list of such names. We want the list to be available on public domain. Because the taxpayers and the citizens, they have a right to know who are these people who are looting our money. And this government is selling assets like, everything. If my friend, President of All India Union Bank Officers Federation, who is the Vice President of the All India Bank Officers Confederation, he was saying in a meeting, अगर देश के प्रगति है, तो बेचना क्यों है? If we are progressing, why should we sell our family silver? स्थिति खराब होगा तभी तो हम सामान बेचते रहेंगे. So from 1991, over 5 lakh crore of worth of national assets have been sold, and this particular government has sold 4 lakh crore of worth of assets. And this signifies the intent of the government. They are propping up this, these crony capital houses. India is now ruled by a duopoly. Every sector, there are two companies are ruling the roost. All of you are aware that the mobile prepaid service charges have been jacked up from 1st of December from 599 to 719. Why this happened? Because the government came out with a directive, a notice, that all the assets of BSNL and MTNL will be sold. So this sent a clear signal to these private operators that we can increase the charges because we will not be competed by BSNL, the state-owned operators. So same thing is awaiting for the common people of the country. If the public sector, especially the banks, are privatized, the people have to pay through the nose. Many of us, this IT cell and these guys are trolling us. This privatization is a brilliant concept, we will get better service. But do they know that the Aam Nagrik, they will not have the right to even cross the threshold of these banks? Because the minimum deposit in this rural semi-urban charged by X, Y and Z, these private banks, minimum 25,000. How many people of the country can afford to have a minimum balance of 25,000? What will be the security of the deposits? These are all the issues President will be talking about. Our question is that this Bharat Yatra campaign, it has evoked tremendous enthusiasm from Calcutta to Delhi, from Mumbai to Delhi. We have covered bases, and everywhere our journey got delayed by several hours because we were stopped in between by enthusiastic our stakeholders, because we are connected to 120 crore of the population. And the entire common people, the self-help groups, the farmers, they came and supported us. They showered us their love and they said, whatever you are doing is right, it's for our benefit. We want our banks. We want the existence of our banks. We are in with you in this Bharat Yatra mission, and the bank Bachao Desh Bachao. For them, the bank means the public sector banks. For the Aam Nagrik bank means the Grameen banks. It's not this XYZ private banks which are offering, this so-called class banking services. For the common people of the country, bank means the public sector bank. Bank means the Grameen banks. So they are with us. The farmers have already pledged their support. Tomorrow at our Jantar Mantar meeting, we are expected to be joined by senior Samyukta Kisan Morcha leaders. Central trade union leaders have affirmed their support. They are also pledged us their support, because this is a movement, as I said in the beginning, it's of the people, for the people, by the people. And on this mission we have embarked on. And we want our media friends to spread the word. Because tomorrow if the banks are not there, if the government, withdraws the sovereign guarantee, tomorrow if a bank fails, it will take away millions of people. After the merger we are witnessing that for each ATM counter closed, 3 security guards are losing their jobs. For each bank branch closed, thousands are losing their livelihood, because it is an industry. So many ancillary industries are connected, so many people are connected, common livelihood connected. And on that mission, All India Bank Officers Confederation, we have initiated this Bharat Yatra. We have initiated this mass movement. We have a Facebook page. It's Bank Bachao Desh Bachao. Every day the page is growing. Today it has crossed 53,000 plus likes. And every day, we are getting so much of feedback, so much of enthusiasm from the people. It has given us a new boost. Even after undertaking such a grueling journey, we are not even feeling एक बूंद भी थकान महसूस नहीं हो रहा है, क्योंकि हमारा एक हौसला मिल रहा है, नई ऊर्जा मिल रहा है कि ये लोगों के लिए लड़ रहा है, ये हमारा जॉब्स के लिए नहीं, ये हमारा नौकरी के लिए नहीं. हमको पता है कि आप प्राइवेट होने से क्या होगा, पता है, लेकिन आम आदमी के लिए हम लड़ रहे हैं, संघर्ष कर रहे हैं, और ये संघर्ष जारी रहेगा. क्योंकि let us make a very clear, abundantly clear. We want to send a clear signal to the government, to the powers that be. We are connected with 120 crore plus of population. And Uttar Pradesh, Punjab, Gujarat, Uttarakhand, these elections are around the corner. If the bill is passed by the government, the country will witness another movement which will surpass the farmers' movement. And we will reach out to each and every household. We will reach out to each and every customer and speak about the policies of the government. We have done that during the West Bengal elections. Our West Bengal State Committee, they organized street corner meetings to mobilize public opinion against anti-people policies of the government. And we have proved that the mandate of the people will be reflected in the ballot boxes. And we once again, it's a clear challenge to the government